Here we go. Okay, so welcome back to module 3. This is part 3. In today's session, we are talking about personal development, unsolved emotion, and troubleshooting. So here's an overview what that means. So when we talk about personal development, we also talk about lifestyle choices. We talk about unsolved or trapped emotions. We talk about conditioned belief systems. We will do an exercise with that. And then we have a break. And then after the break, we talk about the dark night of the soul. We talk about black spots or holes. We talk about lekatosis. We talk about troubleshooting. And that is especially in family constellation workshops, mentally impaired participants, and family secrets. All right. Are you all awake and up for this journey? Okay, cool. Let's go.
Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Looks
Let's go.
like a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff, a lot of important stuff as well. Okay. So, personal development. Just to remind you, I'm sure you know it, but I really want you to embrace the fact that you can only give what you have, see what you know, and find what was previously in your possession. Right? Just think about that, not necessarily now, but when you revisit this training module on the video recordings. What that means is that you can only give what you have, means you need to be full first before you can give anything. So first you need to be you need to be developed to a high level of consciousness, if you will, before you can give it to others, right? You need, it's like what you don't have you cannot give. It's a very simple truth. Huh? What was that? I think I have to mute Gabriel. So that's a very simple truth, but it's often overlooked, right? So when you, that also means don't rush anything, right? You need to be full in order to give. And when you're doing family constellation workshops, you are giving, you're giving your guidance, you're giving your attention, you're giving your awareness. So that needs to be fully there first, right? You can see only what you know. That is also an important thing, because you can literally not see what is there until you know that could be there. So there is this very famous example from Columbus. I don't know whether you know or heard about it. When he approached the North American coast, that the indigenous folks, the Indians, couldn't see the ship over the horizon because they have never seen a ship. And that's exactly how consciousness works. It can only see what it knows. So the knowledge is paramount. I always say you go in the workshop and you forget about everything. And that is true, because you have already learned it and you know it all. And when you go in the workshop, you are like the Indians at the shore of North America. There's only the sea in front of you. There's nothing. You don't need to know anything. It's just nothing there. But when the ship comes over the horizon, which is in the family constellation a dynamic or something, you see it and you work with it, right? You cannot see it if you have never heard of it, obviously, right? And don't think this is like self-explanatory, because it is really important to fully understand the fact how this works. You know it, you put it in the back of your head, you are empty when you start to work, and once something appears in front of you, which you have previously learned, you know what it is. And then you can work with it. And nobody else knows what it is. You're the only one in the workshop who would know it, right? And that's the work as a facilitator. So make sure that you are recapping the teaching content and that you are learning it, really learning it, right? So you know the dynamics, you know the orders of love, you know the spiritual colors, you know the frequency of emotions, you know this stuff, right? Okay. Have we done module? Who has done module 4 already? I think Gabriel, Francesca, not Gabriel and Virna, right? So, Francesca, you know what I'm talking about next module. So, learn that it is important. This is what you need to know. And then you can go in the workshop, you are prepared, and you empty yourself, and it will show up and you will see it. And that's all that matters, right? And then you can only find what is previous in your possession, which is interesting, because you're not accidentally find gold. That's not what I mean. I mean that if you lost something, yeah, then you find it because you're looking for it, and it was previously in your possession, right? So if you like the knowledge we are talking about here and the personal development, the higher vibration that you live in, if this has been lost, somehow this happens all the time, you can find it again. You go and look for it and you find it, right? But if you have never raised your awareness to these levels, there's nothing to find. You're not accidentally, hi Darshan, you're not accidentally stumbling over it, right? This is not the work. You know it, and you will find it. Also, you're never finished with personal development to start to work with family constellation. Yeah, just get that in your head. It's a constant learning, a constant development. So there is not the perfect. It's like getting pregnant if you want a child. There is never the perfect time for that. You have to just give it a go. Take chances. So when do you know you're ready to go out and share your gifts is when you've been asked to do it. That's how you start. When you have your friendship circle we talked about and the people, and then the people say, hey, when are you doing your first workshop? I would love to come. Yeah, fantastic. So then the field is giving you the information, you are ready to go, even if you feel you are not ready. If you think, oh, I have not enough experience, I have not this, I have that, all these excuses will come up. But if you've been asked to do a workshop, don't resist, do it, right? However, if nobody wants you to do a workshop and you put up a workshop because you think you are ready, you might not get any participants, which is fine, because this is only telling you, okay, it wasn't the time. But it has nothing to do how much you have learned, right? Because you're constantly developing you personally, and you're constantly learning, constantly. It's a constant effort. So there is not the perfect time. Knowing yourself or self-realization is the way and the destiny. I mean, we are all on a spiritual journey, obviously, we know that. And in family constellations, this also makes us aware of that fact. Because through your work on yourself with family constellation, and later through your work with others with family constellation, you will constantly learn more about yourself. Constantly. And that is beautiful. And that is why we love to do that. It is a little bit different as becoming a math teacher. I mean, also the teacher will get better and better as more self-realization he or she has, obviously, as a teacher, obviously. But the subject, math, will always stay the same. But with family constellation, not. Because when you broaden your consciousness, your awareness, when you know more, your constellations will be also reflecting that. So you see more, And this is also the good news. When you start, you will not be overwhelmed with some complicated family constellation, because the field will not send that to you. And even if the field would make this mistake, which is not a mistake, a misunderstanding, then you can't see it because you don't see what you don't know, and you would just do a smaller version of the family constellation, which is fine, you know which is fine, because this is what happens. You trust the fear. That is what's bound to happen in this instant, and it's fine. It's not a mistake, and it's not a failure at all. It's what you can do, and you have to trust that the people coming to you are getting exactly what they can digest at that very moment, right? Because not everybody is ready for the big revelation. No, they need small steps too. So, ways to personal growth. And of course, there are much more. I just put the few together that I can think of and that were helpful for myself. So, of course, you chose the methodology of family constellation for your own personal development. So keep on doing that, and go keep on participating in the workshops, which is so easy nowadays online, and just 3 hours you can easily sneak that into your busy lives, right? So keep on doing that. There are supervision workshops. If you have not looked at it yet, have a look when you want to. At the website under supervision, there are two at the moment scheduled, 2 workshops a year, weekend workshops, 5 hours in total, for Finnish trainees and those who are working with family constellation facilitating. So that is also a really good way to keep on with your personal development with the modality of family constellation. Obviously, there are other modalities as well, which are also great. So reading uplifting literature, it's one of the most important things in my life. I don't know how about you, that were for me so from great revelations out of the for the personal development. And I have in the list of recommended books at the end, I think it is, there are some of the literatures which are worldwide known, which deep insights and high vibrations, like the Course in Miracles and others, that are ideal to accompany your way in the family constellation training and beyond. Go to other retreats for personal growth. I have, for myself, I go to one retreat every year. It could be anything. It could be yoga retreat, a meditation retreat. It could be whatever. Something that is concerned with personal development and higher consciousness. So I think that's important. And nowadays, I'm sure that it can be online as well. Have a daily routine. That's also great for personal development. It could be a strict daily routine, which could be a kind of religious, or it could be a very loose daily routine, like just taking a breath and looking out the window and, adoring nature or something like that. It's not, you don't need to get up at 6 and do yoga every morning for 2 hours just to have a daily routine, or meditate for hours. That it's great if you do that. Don't get me wrong. It's awesome, but don't feel the pressure. It's everything that grounds you and centers you and makes you feel grateful for life and alive is a daily routine that helps you in personal development, right? And then one of my favorite topics, make good life choices. Because you are what you do every day, right? That is important. That is the most important thing in your life, is what you do every day, repeatedly, and most of this unconsciously. And this is why we also talk about a conditioned behavior and belief systems. So when you do the training, I urge you, and that will be like a homework, to think about your lifestyle choices. And I have a list for you. And you can think about, not now necessarily, but you can think about when you revisit the teaching content, you can think about everything in your own terms, in your own time, and think about for yourself. what lifestyle choices do I do at the moment, and what can I change? So the lifestyle choices are alcohol. So alcohol is not what can I say? It's not a drug that is expanding consciousness. If you think that is the case, it's not. It is the opposite is the case, right? Alcohol is numbing and dumbing down, and is kind of influencing the mind only. It has no other means, and it's also toxinating the body. Yeah. So alcohol is not considered, and in yogic traditions and everywhere, they are not drinking anything. It's not considered to be of any value on your path to self-realization, right? So the drunk is not self-realized. He is self-forgotten, if you will, right?
But can I say alcohol is not just for getting drunk. Like drinking a good wine or drinking a good whiskey is that
There's
something?
nothing as good, not a good wine or not a good whiskey. The thing is, we have formulated this word to make it excuses to be drunk. Yeah. But there is nothing good about alcohol for the body. It's always toxic. I mean, it never helps. Even I know in Italian, red wine is considered to be a healthy drink. I know, but it's not scientific. You cannot, it's not scientific. And every alcohol uh, uh, is numbing the awareness, right? And people do drink because of that, because they feel strained by life.
Like I never drink. It's like once every 3 months I get a good bottle of wine and I have a glass of wine and it's like
That's a
I don't feel like
lifestyle
I'm numb.
choice. Yeah, that's your lifestyle choice. That's fine. You know, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you choose to do it that way. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lifestyle choices. The emphasis is on choices. You can only do choices when you're aware of what you're doing, right? There is a lot of habit with alcohols nobody's aware of, like coming home, opening a can of beer, sitting
Yeah.
down, or a glass of wine. The ladies normally prefer wine. It's kind of not even conscious. It's considered to be the normal thing in the world. Yeah. But if you are and we're talking about reaching higher consciousness and developing our and talking about personal development, then we want to be conscious about our choices, and then so conscious about what we do, and then make choices, and then after a while revisit the choice and think if they are still okay for us, right? So alcohol and now drugs it's an important part when you think about lifestyle choices. Drugs the same. You know that. I mean that's not normally understood that drugs are not good. But what I want to talk about is about drugs that are in the esoteric realms. Kind of have the how can I put it? The have the what can I
The
say?
boost.
The
The boost.
the the boost. So what I'm talking about is drugs that in alternative people are used for spiritual journeys, right? So in the 80s and 90s was LSD or something like that, and now it's ayahuasca and similar things, right? I just want you to be, and of course, and I know that there's also smoking, some stuff that the yogis do in India, and chewing on leaves that, indigenous folks. Just be aware there is no scientific proof, and I'm absolutely 100% aware there will never be, that there's any drug that is bypassing the work of personal development and getting you where you want to be just by taking a drug. I can assure you that's not the case. And I do not believe that they are even helping on this path, right? Because they bring you in realms that are not connected to what you are actually supposed to do on earth. No. They're taking you out of this. And we don't want to be taken out of anything. We want to go through everything and let it, make it us stronger. So that's my take on drugs. I mean, any drug, including paracetamol. So this is one side, right? So remember, I'm not telling you what to do. I just want you to be aware when you're using drugs. Be aware of it and check if that's still the right choice. And if it's the right choice now, then check in a year if it's still the right choice. So always keep on checking if you want to change it, and don't make it a habit. Smoking, is anybody smoking here? So that's great. So smoking is probably the easiest to give up when you embark on the journey to self. Although a lot of smokers can't give up, but I think if you once come to a decision where your life should take you, then it's probably easier than alcohol and drugs. So there's nothing good about smoking. We all know that. So if you have no problems with that, then we don't need to talk about that. Food. Now this is a biggie because you are obviously what you eat or what you digest, right? You know that. Now there are lots of diets and lots of these and lots of that, and I'm actually trained in plant-based nutrition, and I give nutrition courses and cooking courses and all of this. And there's a lot to say, but we are not on that course, so I'm not gonna go into the depth of that because I can easily spend the next 3 hours with this. I just want to tell you that there's absolutely only one way to nourish the body in a way that it's absolutely healthy and healing and allows the mind to be clear and the soul to be free. And that is a plant-based whole food diet. Yeah. And that's just a fact. And that is actually a scientific fact. Right? So lifestyle choices, check in what you're eating and what you can change. And if you are interested, go and find out about plant-based whole food. The nutrition, the diets, there are probably online courses if you're interested, right? And check what you can do if you want to be healthier, less tired, more connected to the environment through less impact on the environment, and obviously more compassionate, having higher vibration through no or less cruelty to animals, right? These are the 3 aspects of the diet that has an impact on your work as a family constellation facilitator. Because you can only give what you have. And you can give only so much compassion what you have, right? And if you think you are compassionate, and I'm not talking about you, in general, right? If some, I would say, if something they are very compassionate to animals, but they have no problem to eat a steak or drink, whatever, yogurt or milk or whatnot, right? Then they are just diluting themselves. It is okay if people say, I'm not compassionate. I don't care. I want that, eat that, full stop. That's fine. Yeah. But it is absolute illusion to think you can be compassionate towards animals and support their suffering through your food choices. Right. And if what you will know when we go through module 4 is the vibrations of compassion and how important it is to reach this vibration for your own personal development and for the work. And I don't know that, but I'm probably the only family constellation facilitator trainer who talks about that. but I cannot not do that because it's a big part of my life, right? And my realizations. And because you chose to be on this course, I think you really want to hear it, right? So I trust the field. I trust the field, of course. And I would love to talk much more about that because I'm very passionate about that. But as I said, that's another course. And I may even put that online one day. And then you could take part if you want to. The daily routine is super helpful if if you want to change lifestyle, because it's easier to change one lifestyle if you also change your daily routine. So just as an idea, think about it. If you decide, okay, I want to change this and this, then also think about your daily routine and what you can change in your daily routine to support to change a lifestyle choice. This goes hand in hand. No? For example, I give you an example. When you like to drink a glass of wine when you come home from work, yeah, then and you decide, not I tell you, you decide you don't want to drink this glass of wine anymore, right? Then you need to change your daily routine, obviously, because when you come home and you don't want to drink the wine, and what are you doing then? You know, you're gonna miss something, and you don't want to miss anything when you change your lifestyle. You change your lifestyle choice to a better choice, right? So you can either decide, I still want to drink, but it should be a better drink, like, I don't know, kombucha, for example, instead of wine. Yeah. Fermented, it's good. Good for your gut. Or a hot drink or something like that. Or you decide, okay, I'm not going home after work, I go to the gym. That's another change of routine, and automatically you're kind of changing, you're supporting your lifestyle choice.
And
So just
after
think,
that, you go home and you drink a glass of wine.
and then, yeah, well, then I can help.
You come back thirsty.
Then you should drink definitely kombucha.
The thing is, I don't drink, but I have some moments that I do feel like having a glass.
Yeah.
Of what?
Yes, like I don't know, out of nowhere, like, oh, I feel like having a red wine, and I kind of, okay, let's forget about it and do something else. But also, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I did a couple of times weed,
Yeah.
and I've noticed that the last time I did, it affected me, and I was like, this is not convenient. Yeah, I go kind of itchy throat. It didn't work. It was no pleasure.
See, and why is this? Because you have already on your journey came into other spheres of consciousness, and then your old lifestyle choices are not doing anything anymore. So often you're just taking old lifestyle choices with you because you are habitually doing it, and you are missing the point where it's actually not pleasant anymore, right? So this is all stuff you reconsider when you think about lifestyle choices. I want to reassure you that if you have experiences like Virna just shared, that you did something and you find it doesn't serve you anymore, change it immediately. Just take this as a hint from the morphic field that you should not do that anymore. Do something else, something more, in higher, brings you in higher connections and not down. Darshan, you want to say something? No, okay. Because no, I just mute you so your background noise. Okay, so that's what I mean with daily routine. I'm not saying you need to have a daily routine, right? Or, we talked about that before. Uh, so who of, I think we're all doing some kind of yoga or chanting or meditation or something, right? Anybody? Yeah. So would you quickly share what you're doing if you want to? Just unmute and we make a quick round. That would be lovely to hear. Francesca, you want to start?
I do 15 minutes a day asana practice on my own. Then I have the teaching, so I do a lot more at the end of the day. And I do meditation and pranayama and And I change my mantra whenever I feel like changing it. And I generally do. I repeat the mantra during the day. I focus on something or even on some divinity or whatever serves me at that stage. And I repeat it during the day when I remember.
Thank you for sharing. Sounds lovely. Mm. Gabrielle, do you have a practice?
I meditate nearly every day,
Mhm.
and I'm doing some asanas every day in the morning and the evening, but from mind flow, mind flow, mind flow
Yeah,
asanas. So this is my daily practice.
wonderful. What kind of meditation do you do?
At the moment, I there was a Thousand Church, then Dr. Joe Dispenza, and at the moment there's free meditation from Deepak Chopra. So every 3 or 4 months they do a 21 journey, and at the moment there's also started 3 days ago from Deepak Chopra.
So it's like a guided meditation or it's just silent
Yes, it's
meditation?
guided
Ah, yeah.
meditation.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay, thanks for sharing. Darshan, what do you do?
So I'm generally up between 3 and 5 a.m. each morning, and I've got a Kundalini yoga practice. So I've been doing that for the last 8 years. And then I do probably about a 20K run each week. So I try and get 20Ks done. Running's a good thing for me. Yeah.
So you get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. When do you go to bed, if I may ask?
Usually 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
So 6 hours sleep.
Yeah. And if I can, I try and get an afternoon nap, like just half an hour.
Hmm.
Yeah, when I can. Yeah.
When do you start with work then?
So I start varying hours. Sometimes I start at 6:30. If I'm doing shift work, then it can be anything from 5 o'clock in the morning. So yeah, it just all depends.
Mm,
Yeah.
wonderful. Thank you for sharing.
Thank
And
you.
Virna, what do you do?
When I started doing meditation, I did with Tamara Levitt, and that was guided. Then 2 years ago, I did Vipassana. So that's the practice I have daily, early morning, and sometimes evening. I do yoga. Yeah, I go out and do yoga some 3 times 6 in the morning, not always. Sometimes evening to do some yin. Mhm.
Thank you.
Mantras. To me came this week one of the one you shared. Teach me how to love so I can heal.
Ah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So I came across and I wrote it. I'm gonna repeat
Yeah,
this.
yeah, yeah. Wonderful. Sharing. Very good. Okay. Right. What's the next one? Ah, yeah,
Tell
exercise.
us which one do you do? What's your routine?
So I have, at the moment, my heart goes out towards chanting and kirtan. So I gonna sing a lot. I have a harmonium, and I have my favorite chants at the moment, which is Shivoham and um, Sitaram, and that's what I chant every day. And also, I teach yoga, and I do yoga whenever I can. And I am rowing as a by the way. So I'm going up for rowing in the morning. Not at 3, but at 6. Yeah. And also I do like, I love to meditate. So I always sneak in some minutes. Silent meditation. It's very important for me. And bushwalks. I think meditate, they're very meditative too. Mm. So exercise. So what was I thinking about exercise? And not that we do an exercise. I'm thinking about bodily exercises. So obviously there is this Latin saying in oh gosh, what was it again? In mens sana, huh?
Mens sana in corpore sano.
Here we go. Mensana incorporates Sano or something. Yeah, very good. Thank you, Francesca. So that means in a healthy mind needs a healthy body, or something like that. So obviously exercise is good, but I think we now know, after all this craziness of this, every mid 40 woman needs to accomplish a marathon jog and things like this from the 90s and 2000s. I think we are past this now. So exercise should be really moderate if you are not an athlete, because you don't have the time to exercise like freaking out, and I don't consider yoga to be an exercise. So just to make sure we understand that exercise is really going in the gym and lifting weights and running on the treadmill, on things like that. That's what I think. So I think, yeah, great to do and healthy, absolutely, but definitely not make it a part of the center of your life, because then you have no time for meditation and work and training and all the other stuff that you really want to do to personal development, right? But also over exercising, also not very healthy anyhow. So reading is yay, reading is great. I think the youth nowadays is not reading anywhere what we used to read, which is a shame. Consider what I learned from my teenagers here. They only read Facebook posts nowadays, and Instagram and TikTok, and that's it, and the rest is videos. That's really a shame. There is so beautiful literature out there, and I think the vibrations of the spoken words are unsurpassed. So reading is also being part of the lifestyle choices. Make an effort to actually read in a book. I think it's a beautiful lifestyle choice in these days where this is actually hardly anything people do anymore. Virna.
Also, what is good as well that boosts the energy is going into nature. I live near to the beach, so sometimes I feel that the urge, so I pop in, or going to a park through a park. Having that solo time.
Yeah, absolutely. There is even a word in Japanese for forest bathing. That's actually a thing. So you have to go out into the forest at least once a week or something, and bathe in the forest to soak up the energy of nature, of the trees and everything. Here, we are from New Zealand, and Gabrielle is in Switzerland. It's also very green. That is not a thing. You do that anyhow, right? But if you live in a mega city, Tokyo or New York or you name it, then it's actually a lot of people are not doing that at all, right? They're just in their concrete environment and doing that all the time. So, and then they have to actually make a lifestyle choice and an effort to do it. Yeah. That was connected with nature. We just talked about that. Animals. So, lifestyle choices, animals. So we talked a lot about compassion and caring. And I discovered for myself in my personal journey that at one stage I really wanted to care for animals. Here we go. There is one. So, and because it's not only cute and something you do, and that's, give you company, but you are actually learning a lot from the animals. And to care and to change your ways, to care for animals, that's actually something that is raising the vibrations and brings you into, closer to compassion, to the vibration of compassion. So that's another lifestyle choice, to care for animals, and even not necessarily their own animals. One can go to SPCA and help out, or one can, walk the neighbor's dog. Or I mean, it doesn't mean that if the lifestyle is not suitable for an own pet, that there doesn't need to be animals around in your life. Friends, lifestyle choices, friends, that's a big topic actually, because once you're personally developing, and I'm sure you all have experienced that, you probably will find or will see that friends are left behind. Some people are just not, you know, going the same way, to say, like you do. And that's fine. It has to change. You cannot expect that the friends people you were friends with 10 years ago, you can if you have developed in the same direction, but most of the friends would probably not develop in the same direction. And I would just want to say, don't hold on to friends that don't seem to fit in anymore. Don't hold on. Let them go, because you need to make space for others. Space for others that are more in line with your higher consciousness you're living, you know. And groups like this, the family constellation training or the workshops, or if you create, that's another aspect, to create a friendship circle. You will connect with other people from your area who are interested in the same things and looking for the same journey, right? And you may make a friend there. So this is excellent ways to find new ways to make new friends. So if I'm not saying let go of your friends, but if you experience you're not happy with your friends anymore, they are not happy with you anymore, let them go. Don't hold on. They will only hold you back, right? Now we come to the topic unsolved emotions. So why is that not? Hang on. Anna, that's just the overview. When we talk about unsolved emotions, because I'm sure there is an exercise coming up for us. So we're going to talk about the dark night of the souls. We talk about black spots or black holes. We talk about family entanglements, conditioned beliefs, trapped emotions, leckatosis in brackets. I'm sure you don't know what that is. So we start with the trapped emotions. Do you know about the emotional body? Is that something you're familiar with? Everybody's nodding. Great. So I don't need to dwell on that. So in this emotional body, we are preserving unsolved emotions. And if all these emotions are bundled up, it becomes what Eckhart Tolle calls the pain body. It becomes pain. And this is not only an energetic thing anymore, it will be physical as well. So people who are experiencing pain in the body guaranteed have a pain body as well, where they have unsolved emotions bundled up. And this is in the emotional body. So what we want to do is, when we do the work, personal development, family constellation facilitating, we want to get rid of trapped emotions, right? And we want to cleanse our emotional body. So we are not carrying that around. So we are not sick, we have no illness, we have no pain. That's one thing. And the other thing is that we are open to do the work, because we are not concerned with our own emotions, right? Because as long as we are concerned with our own emotions, we are not really good helpers out there. So there is to every emotion gives a vibration. For every emotion there is a vibration, and we will talk about that in module 4. Actually, why am I saying 5? That's coming up in module 4. So next module. So we are not going to dwell on that. I just want you to hear that. So an emotion is equal a certain vibration. Trauma and being of traumatized, any kind of traumatized, either your own traumatized or traumatized you are entangled with an ancestor, yeah, and also being caught off guard, like being surprised, like a shock, is create an emotion. And these are stored in the emotional body. So all of these, all traumatized, and also every time you've been severely startled in your life, yeah, is an emotion in your emotional body that needs to be cleared. So there's a routine. You can clear emotions every morning or every night. There are lots of methods to do that. Some are very connected to their emotions and they can feel it when they, they are sitting down in the evening and they go through the day and just recap the day and just figure out when they became emotionally involved into something. And then they look at the emotion and then they have breathing techniques or something to let them go. Right? That's a beautiful routine to clear the emotional body from trapped emotions. There's also a lovely method which is called the emotion code. Have you heard about that? It's also quite old. It's probably 30 or 40. It's on the list of the recommended books, the emotion code, which you can use to clear emotions on yourself, but also on others. Works a treat. So I can recommend to do that. That's a helper to clear emotions. And then, of course, the idea is not to trap any new emotions anymore, right? And how do we do that? Yes? Anything? Anybody? We are raising our vibrations constantly above the vibrations of the emotions we don't want to trap. Because if our vibrations are higher permanently, we are vibrating permanently higher than the emotions we can possibly that are out there. The emotions cannot be trapped in your body. It's like a guard. It's like a shield. Vibration need always the equal vibration to attach to, right? So to cling together. And that's it. And this is why the way is the destiny. That is actually what you do with personal development, with this course, with other things you do, to come into higher vibrations permanently. And then these emotions cannot be trapped anymore. Or if they're trapped, if you're startled or something, you can clear them immediately because they have no way to stick. So they come and you let them go.
How do we clean them? How do we clear them?
That's the just what I said to you. Breathing techniques as very common, but also every tears that you shed is actually clearing of emotions. Then there is the emotion code, which tells you how to clear it with a magnet, trapped emotions. So there are several methods to do that. Too many to go through now. But if you're interested in and you find a method that you like, try it out and maybe share it with the group if it helps. So the emotion code, I do the emotion code, not so much sometimes on myself, but often with friends. Works great. So the methods are the emotion codes I just talked about. Meditation is a lovely practice to clear emotions. There are guided meditations out there to clear emotions, but also silent meditation. And then all the other methods that you can find out there. So how do we avoid to trap new emotions? Just by raising your vibrations. That's the way, right? Okay. So let me just check where I am. Oh yeah, okay. So let's talk about conditioned beliefs. We talked about how, did we do that already? Did we talk about how conditioned happened? Or is that module 4? I think that is in module 4. So condition is when you are a small child, actually even in the womb of your mother, you can be conditioned because you are in a state of either alpha or theta. Have you heard of that? In this state, you are completely, or you're soaking up information completely unfiltered. So you have no discernment, right? You have no discernment. This is how you are conditioned to the environment you are growing into. And it has aspects of survival, obviously. That's what you need, to survive. However, if you want to leave the narrow boundaries of your family's conditioning, then you have quite a job to do to get out of this, no? Because the conditions are so embedded in your subconscious that you're always falling back towards them. And obviously, when you choose a path of personal growth through family constellation and others, then this is also something you have to overcome, your belief systems. Because in the work and the family constellation work, if you have a strong belief system, remember, you can only see what you know. Everything you see in a constellation will reflect that. So you don't actually see what's going on in constellation, you see what you believe in. So it's really important that you are questioning your belief systems. This work is for people who are, there's a German word, Freidenker. How could we translate that? Free thinkers, right? Like Bert Hellinger has overcome all his strong beliefs in the Catholic and other churches. And he has also overcome his beliefs then after in the psychotherapy. And so, you know, you jump into, you do it, you believe in it, and then you find out not true. No, too narrow. Doesn't embrace everything and everybody. And therefore cannot heal on the deepest level. Does this mean if you are religious, you need to leave your religion? I cannot tell you that. That's obviously up to you. So we are conditioned from parents. Obviously, that's the closest to us when we are young, caretakers, teachers, family members, and church and other institutions, until we are about 7 years old. With 7 years, you are around 5 to 7, you are getting out of alpha state into beta state, and you start to be able to discern. So people cannot just tell you what to do and you believe that's right. You would question. That is when the children start the why. Everything is why. Why is the banana bent or something like that? They want to know because they don't believe it anymore. But for a lot of pattern, this is too late. A lot of pattern are already deeply embedded in the person. So when you do the work, we are talking about to help others on a very deep level. Really, everything has to be questioned. Everything. If there's anything you think you cannot let go as a belief system, as a belief, then you have work to do, right? And this is actually what we want to work on now. We have an exercise now to find out for yourself, what is it that you believe in? And you have to find it, it is your own path, right? So nobody can tell you. You have to find it out for yourself. And that's the beauty about the work as well. It's again, the way is the distance. So what is our exercise? Our exercise is to find your strongest belief system. How do we do that? Let's see. So we're going to do a guided meditation. I will guide a meditation for us. And then we will, and then I will, by the end of the meditation, you will see the breakout rooms. Yeah. And I will assign 2 breakout rooms and 2 groups to that. And you come out of the meditation and you just accept the room without talking or anything. And then you discuss with your partner what you have found out in the meditation. What is your strongest belief system? Right? Okay. Shall we do that? Okay. So sit upright. Find a grounded position for yourself. start to deep breathe into your belly. Follow with your awareness your breath. Sink deeper with every breath into your innermost space of peace and tranquility. The space where you're in the now, all your thoughts, worries, and excitement are dropping away. And you enter your happy space. And you see yourself in your happy space, which could be anywhere, outdoors or indoors, a meadow, top of the hill, seaside, wherever you feel safe. In this happy space, you see yourself as a small child between 3 and 5 years old. You may remember a photo that has been taken of you in this age. And you go back in time to this memory. And you stop there where your parents or your caretakers were teaching you how to behave, what to think, what to do, what is right and what is wrong. And you are watching this little child with the parents or the caregivers and how it soaks up every word, unfiltered, as if it would be truth itself. This is how it's supposed to be. And there is this one belief that comes up over and over again. That your parents or caregivers are talking about over and over again. You shall not do this or that. You shall do this or that. You just take note of what comes up. And take it back to the room you're sitting in. You feel the heaviness of your body. Take a deep breath in and out. And be fully back into your room where you're sitting. You open your eyes in your own turn and go to your rooms and discuss with your partner the belief system that came up for you. Let's see where the others are. They have a lot to say.
Obviously, yeah.
How was it going with you guys?
Pretty good. I kind of my volume on my computer wasn't exactly right, but I caught a lot of your words or some words, it took me back to when my mum brought me home for the first time from hospital, like when I was born. It was really interesting, and I remember a conversation that my brother had with me recently, and he said mum told him as a kid that she was bringing a baby home, and it was his little brother, and so he needed to keep everything nice and clean and tidy. So that's what I got. I mean, I don't know, I felt nurtured and felt really warm. But that's it. So I apologize, I didn't hear all the words you said. I kind of, yeah, so.
Was it my mic or did you hear me, Francesca?
What?
I think for me, it was just more the volume on my computer, but I could be wrong. I mean, my volume
I
wasn't.
could hear you. I could hear you.
Yeah.
Okay, good. No,
Yeah.
just checking in. So, just out of curiosity, Darshan, are you liking it nice and tidy?
Am I liking what? Sorry.
Do you like your house nice and tidy?
I do. Yeah.
See, very
Yeah.
good.
It could be. Yeah. Right to that.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're not hearing anything from our other girls, so I close the room. Francesca, what came up for you?
So it was interesting because when you said something about being listening and being learning from somebody, I wasn't actually looking at my parents, but I was looking at a group of horses, which are like definitely a big part of my life. And then when you said about the parents, then I kind of redirected my attention.
Okay.
And what came to my mind is an image of me. I was told that I was like 2 years old, and I would be, my brother is 2 years younger. So now I was maybe 3, and he was sitting on the floor, and I would walk around him, hitting him and saying, I'm doing this for your own sake, for your own wellness. So I think the belief there is that like love is violent or painful, aggressive.
Necessary or something, yeah.
Yeah, so I think that that's still true. It's like it's a big deal for me.
Write it down in your notebook. Write it down in your notebook.
It's funny because it's something I'm dealing with in these days. Like I'm always like, if they love me, they're gonna trap me. Yeah, trap me and make my life miserable. So
hurt you.
Yeah. I had a dream actually last night. Like it was exactly, somebody passed beside me and I'd say, when you get close to me, you always hurt me. And I think it was related to something like this.
Yes. Yes. And something also the Catholic Church likes to teach, right?
Yeah, it's like that kind of, you need to, when you love, you need to sacrifice. And when you're loved, you need to obey.
And be in pain. No?
I have that with people, so I really struggle. It's like I really struggle. It's like
Yeah. And it's a
I'd
belief
rather
system.
be
Yeah.
on my own.
You go,
Like I'm
The
very
good
divided.
the good news is not that
Yeah.
you see it, you can deal with it. You're frozen, Francesca. Oh, now you're back. That's the whole purpose of this exercise and the self-development, everything else we do is to be aware of it. Because then that's the first, acknowledging what is the first step towards healing. So Werner and Gabriel, how was
oh, we
the
missed
discussion?
Darshan.
You see it in the recording.
What did we miss?
We missed Darshan, his sharing. Yeah. So we were talking about what we believed. So I was at the beach and I saw myself as a child when I was 5 with my little dress and everything. But when you said in the meditation, what you believe in, I felt it was a sensation, So my belief used to be very Catholic until it changed. That's what I was saying to Gabrielle. It changed. One day I felt, what am I doing here? God is not, this is not God, and it doesn't mean that it was bad, but this was not the God experience, the godliness experience I wanted to have. There was more beyond that. And I left and I decided I wasn't going back there. And yeah, I do dislike when the society, the Catholic people or any religious wants to manipulate the population and say because you will be punished, because it's sin, because it's bad, that's it, BS. That's it for me. And we all have just to be good, and everything will return good as well. If we cultivate bad things are gonna come. If you cultivate good things are gonna flourish. So we were talking about society as well, and how the lifestyle and education in our countries where we grow up, everything will impact our upbringing and the result later on, who we are. Yeah, mainly that we were sharing our perceptions, belief, how we felt. Yeah.
Was there Werner, a specific belief that you found that you
Oh,
holding?
okay. My specific belief was felt sense. I believe that God, without saying is a woman or a man, is an energy for me, and is everything what surround us. Yes. For me, it's very powerful what is inside me. The energy that I can feel, anything that I can experience, that's God for me.
But that's not a belief system.
That's the belief I have. I don't have anything else other than.
As a 5-year-old.
No. As an adult, as a 5 years old, I didn't have any belief, I guess, other than my parents love me. That was punished if I did something bad.
Okay.
So, nowadays, all that has changed. So it's
Yeah.
not there anymore.
Okay. Great. Thank you. Gabriel, what came up for you?
It had to be as a 5-year-old child.
Not just in the meditation you were.
Okay. I believe in God, whatever it is. I'm going toward this. I really want to know what it does it mean. I believe if a woman has to be unabhängig, independent.
Yeah.
I have really to be independent of a man. And personally, in my I have a very bad belief system in my deepest heart that I'm not I'm too fat that to be loved at the moment.
Mhm.
So when a man is in front of me and he looks at me like, "Oh, you look nice," I have this sentence in my heart: "How can he love me? I'm too fat." It's really my belief at the moment. So this is a personal belief, and I said to Virna, I think beliefs change when you go through certain circumstances in your life. For example, if you have cancer and you heal yourself, you have other belief systems when you went through. So belief systems change about also beliefs change when your life change. So your belief system change as well. So if you go through, I think through a very deep health problem, you have another belief system afterwards. So it depends really if you have money, if you don't have money, if you change your belief system.
Thank you for sharing. Wonderful. So now that you have found something that you were probably not aware of, or that was too unconscious to look at or unspoken of, write it in your notebook and incorporate that in your meditation. But remember to change it. Remember to have positive affirmations, right? So not say, so in Gabriella's example, don't saying I'm too fat too, just positively affirm it. How would you say that? I am beautiful as I am, or um I'm loved whatever my body looks like, or something like that. You think about it. That's just a positive affirmation, right? Or for Francesca is a positive affirmation would be love doesn't hurt. Is that positive?
What?
I'm not sure if it's
There is
positive.
a negation, so I don't
Love
think
doesn't hurt.
it doesn't work for the mind.
No. So it has to be something else. It has to be love nourishes or something like that, or heals,
Yes.
or something like that. We can think about that, right? Okay, it's time for our break. So let's take a breather and some refreshments, and I'll see you in 10. The Dark Night of the Soul. Have you heard about that term?
No.
Never? Dunkle Nacht der Seelen?
A lot. It's
A
really
lot.
in the Christian tradition.
It is. Daphne, have you heard of that? Yeah. Virna, not?
Maybe. Let's see.
Yeah. There is something similar in every tradition. This is a term that it comes from the Middle Ages. From, gosh, who was this?
Teresa d'Avila. Teresa.
Thank you. Yeah. And I use this term because it's quite catchy, and I don't know, I like it. But it is similar in all traditions, and what it means is that you have to go through, if you're on your spiritual path, or call it to higher consciousness, or call it personal development, whatever you would call it, there is this down. There is where this, like this, first it goes, it goes at one stage, it really goes down before it goes up. And when you are kind of, that's how it feels. It doesn't go down, but this is how it feels. And when you feel down, that is not a sign of a failure or anything like this, right? It is a necessity to go through this. It's like an initiation, if you will. That's the soul needs. And this is called the Dark Night of the Souls. And I want to talk to you a little bit about it. So if it happens to you that you recognize it and you're prepared and embracing what happens rather than being afraid of it. Okay, so everyone who is earnestly seeking the truth and I'm not talking about the new agey stuff where everything is about retreats and feeling good and being well nourished and cared of and having massages, and you know what I mean. That is not the path to truth. That is the path to convenient comfort in the comfort zone. So the path of truth and to self realization is thorny. It's not pleasant. There are some pleasant aspects, but mostly it is not, because you are facing your um, dark sides, if you will, your shadow sides. There are lots of words for that, right? In order to go through it. So if uh, uh, so what you are experiencing at a certain point can be called the dark night of the souls. Let's stay with this term. It could be called something else. It is a period. What it is a period of utter spiritual desolation, disconnection, and emptiness, in which one feels separated from the divine, totally lost, hopeless, and without any meaning in life. This is how it feels. So exactly the opposite of what you want when you go on the spiritual path towards the truth, right? Who has been there so far? Yeah. So you know how that feels. And it normally comes to you very unexpectedly, or, well, we actually make a round. Gabriel, tell us how it was for you.
I think when I made my first family constellation, I was 20 years old, and it started. I think now the field is more different. And when I did my first family constellations, I cried 3 days. I was only crying.
Mm-hmm.
I really, I remember I cried, and it because the I only cried also at the, I think the three, four, five family consultations. I always also only cried, and I also cried when I saw the other constellations. I cried.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that the field got more up and you don't cry anymore. So I think when we begin to do this work, there was more sadness in the whole field. More people did it, so the field got more lightened. That's my impression.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. And Darshan, how did you feel it? Your mic is off.
My apologies, everyone. I was about 17 or 18 years old, and I was seeking the truth. So I went into the forest. This is in Zimbabwe, where I was born. And just to go deeper with my process, and there I really found that I learned this concept of letting go. And through that process of letting go, I was away for 10 days, 10 nights, pretty much, just in the forest. But during that time, I felt a part of me leave. I can't explain it exactly, but it felt like my soul had left or something, and I could see myself from outside my body. But whilst it was a process of letting go, it is also a process of revealing that we're here on a journey, and it was one that we're just passing through. So there was this glimmer of hope, if that makes sense.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you for sharing. That's very different to Gabriele's, and I can also share mine. It was later in life, and it was in my 40s or end 30s, something like that. And I woke up in the night, and I was so in fear, and I had no idea why, because I'm not a fearful person. It was such an I thought I'm gonna die. I had so much fear. It was just absolutely hilarious. Tremendous, I would say. And I was just awake all night and walking about the house and didn't know what to do and felt really totally lost. And and fear and shock. And I thought, that's the end. That's the end. That's the it's all ends in hell rather than in heaven. And but I knew about the dark night of the soul because I had awesome teachers. And at one stage I realized that must be it.
Yeah.
So I had enough, there was enough going on that to realize that that's it. And then I realized that this is actually something that I should embrace. And once I started to embrace it, I had not an out of body experience, but I had like a divinity experience kind of thing going on. And so it was pretty much for me, it was it was actually a night, funnily, one night. When then everything was from there on it never came back. Everything was a lot lighter after that.
And how old were you?
I think I
How
was
old were you?
end 30s, end 30s, beginning of 40s when I had that. Birna.
I have experienced things like that, but it hasn't been for days. One time I was really unwell, and I had this experience of sensations, and I was scared. I had a period of being scared, and I was saying I don't want to be in this journey by myself. You know, one thing that happened a time that I went to the Vipassana center was that. Being asleep and feeling that something went out like stretching, and then suddenly as I woke up it came back to me, and all my body was kind of, like, what was this, and another time I experienced it here at home, that sleeping as well, like I woke up to go to the toilet, suddenly like something crushed me, like it was out and then suddenly came back to me, but it has been kind of elastic and heating, that I feel the fear in the whole body, what's happening, what is this, can my soul just leave? And someone told me it's because you're ungrounded, and I was like, I need to work my grounding.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep your soul in.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Okay, there's a little bit more I would like you to know about it. So the signs are sleeplessness, right? That's one thing. Fear or horror is accompanied with the dark night of the soul in one way or the other. It does feel like a depression. If you know depressions, it can feel like a depression. It has always to do with the questioning of the meaning in life. Is there any meaning in life? And it's kind of like it's like a desolate question. It's like, oh my gosh, there is probably no meaning in life. And it is not like a philosophic question. It's really you feel like the grounds underneath your feet are taken away. Like there is no meaning in life. So it doesn't need to be all the symptoms, just, it could be one or two or three of those. Nothing brings joy in this moment. It could be as brief as a night or as long as 10 days or maybe reoccurring. But in this moment, nothing really brings joy. And no one can help. That's another experience of the dark night of the soul. You are in alone. It is this really, there's nobody who can help. And it's a collapse of values often, right? That everything you have worshipped before does make no sense to you anymore. You might have visitors at night. You might have out-of-body experiences like Darshan shared. There might be signs. And all these are guides in this night, right? They are guides. So you think you can't be helped, but in fact, help is there. But you often don't see it or don't realize it, and you definitely don't feel it. It doesn't feel like you've been helped, but you are. So when you are in the dark night of soul, that has helped me a lot. Ask for help. I mean, not to call your mom. I mean, ask for spiritual help. Whatever spiritual guidance you have, if you are Christian and you believe in Jesus, or you whatever it is, or Shiva, or whatever is your belief system, or whatever is your, or an angel, or your higher self, or what it is, ask for help. It does help to say, okay, help me, please help me, please, this simple word, please helps, please help me, show me the way through this. No, show me how I can get out on the other side. After going through the dark night of the soul, you're experiencing a change of perception. That's often is mentioned, that nature looks a little bit brighter. There is more halo to everything. Everything seems to be shinier. You feel a lightness in yourself somehow. It feels lighter, as if a burden has been come off. You find new goals and new motivations after this. You do feel more connected to the divine, and you have a new, deeper sense of self after this. And this is beautiful and worth going through, so to speak. So the reward is definitely good. The next topic we talk about in personal development is black spots or black holes. Do you know this term? Does it mean anything to you? These are these are aspects in your own life that you are dealing with, and this, therefore, if somebody comes to you with the same issue, you don't see it because it's your own issue, and you don't see your own issue, you don't see it in others. Meaning, as long as you have your own issues, these are black holes that if you have a client or a participant in a workshop coming to work with you, they have the same, you don't see it. That's just a fact, because it's still something you haven't resolved in yourself. That's what we call a black spot or a black hole. Or in other words, every aspect in yourself that you have not looked at and brought into light is called a spiritual black hole or a black spot. When working with a client and a similar issue comes up, you are unable to see it in your client. And therefore, obviously, you're unable to help you. Something else would happen, and you would do something else and something, but it wouldn't be that until you have solved it for yourself. And you know how life is, it always sends you mirrors, yeah? Everybody you meet is a mirror. So chances are that people come to you with the same issue are great, right? Clearing black spots is a result of continuing with the work of self-realization. So everything you do from meditation to family constellation will be sufficient, because you're guided to clear your black spots. It could be small things, it could be big things, small belief systems or big traumas in your life, past life traumas, whatever. But it will be revealed on your way. Every time when you're attending, for example, family constellation workshop, another aspect of yourself will be revealed and black spots will be cleared. Even if you're not constellating, you're just observing, you're in a representative role, you will resonate with the healing field, and something in you will heal. That's the beauty of the work. Unsolved family entanglements are actually a form of black spots, right? Obviously. So this is why we are continuing to do the work with family constellation to clear our own family history, our own family entanglement. They are especially important to be looked at and cleared when starting to work with family constellation. Remember, success has mother's face. A resolved mother relationship is key to success. Right? So that's where we start. We start with the mother. Mother brings us life. We start with the mother and every other aspect that we want success in our life. It's one of my favorite topics, lactose. Has anybody heard this word? Okay. Have you ever heard from Ramta? He or she, or however you want to call him, her, is using this term, and it stuck with me because I really like it. What does it mean is neediness. Lactose is a disease of always having something in your life lacking. Right? That is lactose. It's a disease. There is a need to be loved. You know. So lactose can mean that you are under the illusion that love is lacking. Right? There's a need to be accepted. Another lactose. There's a need to be seen often. Right? Another lactose. A need to be wanted. Lactose. The need to be needed. You know, lactose. Lactose has many symptoms. The trap is the need of the group experience. You would not believe how many facilitators, and I'm not only talking about family constellation, I'm talking about every kind of group leaders, need the group. That's a lactose. That's a severe case of lactose, and they never see it. Yeah, but they don't. They do this group events for themselves. And what is the mother? What is the group standing for again?
For the mother.
Yes, the mother. So what do these people need?
The love of the mother.
Mother's love, exactly. So they need a few family constellations.
I am that person. That's me.
Yeah, great. Very
Nice
good.
to meet you.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Gabrielle, you want to say something?
I also recognize that people, they, if they like to be in this kind of constellation workshops, that they love to be there, and that they don't even solve problems, or that they just take part one workshop of the other.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
consuming this.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be a case of lactosis, right?
And I recognize that I thought that I started to do the same. That's why I
Yeah.
stopped then.
Oh, really? Okay.
Because, and it's also, it was in, I remember very good when there was one workshop, and I didn't want to leave there. I didn't want to go away from there. It was in Schladming.
Yeah.
And then I recognized that there's another kind of thing going on behind it.
Very good.
Because if you feel so only comfortable when you go in a workshop or something.
Yeah.
I mean, it was 20 years ago, but then I recognized, okay, I have to think about it.
I need to think about it then. I love the workshops.
Okay.
Yeah.
So lactosis doesn't mean that you have to quit going to workshops. Lactosis, lactosis is a disease. Yeah, it's a severe form of neediness.
Okay.
Neediness means that you need the group, and I'm talking especially about the leaders, not the participants so much. The leaders are in need of the group to give them something. Because you would think the leader of the group is there to give to the group, right? That's what you think. Like, you kind of pay to come to this group events to get something from it, right? But often or sometimes the leader has a severe case of lactosis and needs the group, so it's actually the opposite. So kind of draining the group energy and feeding on it, right? So a severe case of lactosis. Lactosis is everywhere. We all, to a certain degree, have this bug in us. But once you are aware of it, then you can acknowledge it. And when you can acknowledge it, you can make choices. You can change it. You can work on it, right? So for you, homework would be to check in with yourself. What kind of needs do you have that are severe, you know?
I had a question.
Sure.
Can everyone say that? Do you know yourself?
What do you mean by this question?
Do you know yourself? Can you say, yes, I know myself?
You mean that as a you mean that as a philosophy?
Individual, yeah, as an
Is it possible to know yourself?
Mhm.
Well, Omar, so this has a lot of layers. You know, I have to answer depends on what state of consciousness you are in, right? Because the highest state of consciousness is realizing that there is no self other than oneness. And then there are lower states of consciousness where you see yourself in different states, right? So to know yourself means to dissolve yourself. If you talk about the highest self, if you talk about the personal self, then you never know your personal self because it's changing all the time.
Yeah, that's, I felt like, oh my God, I don't know myself. I was telling Gabriel.
You know, you look back 10 years ago. Were you be the same person or were you be a different person? Look back 30 years ago. Was this the same person or does it look like a completely different person you never met? Almost, right? So this is how you change. So this kind of self, this personal self, changes all the time. You can never know it.
Mm.
But the highest self that you are on the spiritual path want to seek and want to know, that's the journey. That is the urge in you to know. When you go that way, and you will always find different aspects of this higher self, when you find it, it will be dissolved into oneness, into or nothingness. Some would say nothingness, others say oneness. So there is only one self in the end. So troubleshooting. Okay, so now we are talking about the situation, two situations in family constellation workshops that are severely disrupting the success of the workshop. And the one is mentally impaired participants. Did we talk about that before? I think so. I must have mentioned it somewhere. Anyhow, I will dwell on this in more depth here. When you sign up, for example, for one of my workshops, and you read the terms and conditions, it says this is not suitable for mentally impaired people. Family constellation. Why is that?
You don't want to be dealing with people that has mental issues.
And why is that not good for them? Because experience lets us know that they cannot be helped, so to speak, right? Because we are not working with the mind. Mentally impaired people are severely attached to their mental state, right? They have, so to speak, a super ego. Mental is everything. Everything is mental. And in family constellation, we are leaving that completely behind and we are working with the movement of the souls. But mentally impaired people are so severely attached to their mental state that they cannot let go of it. So they try to bring in their mental state into the family constellation.
When you
Good.
say mental impaired, you mean what kind of?
Schizophrenia, multiple personas. I'm not a doctor in this, but everything.
When I work with autistic and Down syndrome people, and I'd say the opposite. I'd say they live in the field and they don't have the mental tools to process.
That's so
they're like
interesting.
super
So that would be
straightforward.
awesome, Francesca. It would be awesome if you want to, after the training is finished, if you want to do with them a family constellation. Let's see how it goes.
I'm not sure they can process. It's like move back to whatever they need to take from the constellation. So I still wouldn't work with them personally, but because maybe, it's like they wouldn't even worry about fixing things. It's just completely how it is.
Okay, so that's probably another case, because obviously I never had somebody with Down syndrome in the family constellation, so no our own experience. The mentally impaired participants that come, they are more like the people with multiple personas, or with schizophrenia, or with bipolar, or things like that. I mean, I would be very intrigued to see if somebody with a Down syndrome or something is able to do it. But maybe what you just mentioned maybe is pointing towards the possibility that both sides of mental impairment is not capable of doing family constellations. Probably
Just wanted to say that it's like from them I see a lot of truth.
Yeah.
From the people I work with. There is manipulation, but like the flow is very direct. It's not. So I was just wanted to make a difference between types of mental impairment. And then I don't know, it's just an hypothesis.
So I probably use it in a more untechnical way, in a more also super egos, which you probably wouldn't call mentally impaired. They're also trouble in a family constellation. Everybody who cannot really let go of their mental domination is trouble in a family constellation. Is causing trouble, and you don't want to be in it with them. You just don't want that. I had that a few times, and it's very unpleasant, very distracting, and it's really hard to deal with. And this is why it's a good idea to kind of work with the divine, work with energies, and make sure that when you want to work with people in a group setting or one-on-one setting, that you are vibrating this energy, that you want to only work with mentally intact people, right? So you're not attracting them. That's what I say. As like not going to say, oh, I want to help everybody, and I want to help people who have problems with their state of mind as well. Then you may attract them, and you're in for quite a ride. I have never seen that it really actually works. There is what Darshan, did you not share this video with schizophrenia, which bird where he was very young, which is probably 40 years old? This this video with this child and the parents, wasn't that?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
And then he said, this is how a child is. So the child was not consolating, right? It was the mother. The mother and the father, they were there. And they had said they have problems with their child. And then when in the consolation, when the child was representing, Bert said that this is how you become schizophrenic, because the parents were kind of both entangled in their own ways with different family dynamics. And this is also what you can read in his books. Schizophrenia is not so it's in the medicine. I looked it up actually after we discussed that. It is actually true. This is a state of the art, is to say schizophrenia is not capable of being healed. You can just manage it with therapy and drugs. Yeah, but you cannot heal it. The same is what Bert Hellinger says. You cannot heal schizophrenia in a family constellation. Right? And I would extend that to say any kind of mental impairment. It's just not, it's not healable. It's probably something karmic about it that just need to be in this lifetime. So what happened is actually how you see it. That's more important, how you see it. I'm not talking about, so there's two ways to look at it in a family constellation. One is one of your participants shows sign, and we go through that, shows sign of a mental impairment. So how do you deal with that? That's one case. And the other case is, the second case is that you conduct or you facilitate a family constellation, and in the family constellation, one of the representatives is showing signs of schizophrenia for the family member they are representing. That's different case, right? So bear that in mind. We're talking about the first one now. Let's see where my slides take me, because I'm not quite sure. The second one is family secrets, which we look at after that, and we make a constellation with that, right? So coming back to mentally impaired participants. So signs of a mentally impaired person in a family constellation workshop, that means the person who is present has a mental disease, right? They can't comply with the rules. Now you think, oh, well, that could be a rebel too. Yes, but there are more signs. So if 2 or more of these signs show up, then you have it to do with a mentally impaired person. They demand your attention all the time. Right? They are the ones who demand your attention in one way or the other. Either they are naughty, or they ask all the time, or they get up all the time, and things like that. They do actually run in and out of the room all the time. That is a strong sign for a mentally impaired. They cannot sit on the chair. They go and run in and out of the room. So, hang on. Yeah. In a family constellation, mentally impaired people take over roles without being asked. They just get up into the family constellation. They just get up. And this is different to the case when somebody raises the hand and says, I think I'm connecting to the field. I think I'm needed. That's okay. That can, in some occasions, that can happen, that somebody is connected to the field and is supposed to represent somebody, but they are very polite and they ask, and they don't mind if you say, nah, we leave it here. Yeah. But the people I'm talking about, they jump up, they go in a constellation, and they just do things, right? Another sign is that they claim not to be able to get out of a role. So as I said before, all the time I said, when we are facilitating family constellation, we are not inviting spirits, right? We are not allowing any spirit to attach to us at all. I mean, absolutely not at all, right? So when somebody is claiming not to be able to get out of the role, that means they feel possessed by the people they're representing, which is actually not possible. Yeah. So that is just because of their mental impairment, that they cannot discern anymore between themselves and the role they are playing, right? This is not an actual case of possession, just to make that clear. They would just think it is. That's then the more severe cases. They think they are possessed by the family member they have been represented. They hear voices, right? They actually hear. They said, "Oh, I've been just told to say that." You know how it is. We all have represented often in family constellations. You do not hear a voice telling you what to do, right? Absolutely not. There is a knowingness of an information, but you do not hear a voice. If you hear a voice, if somebody claims to hear a voice, guarantee you there is something going on here. Yeah, and then people who want to tell you what to do, is normally also one of the signs. If it's the only one, I wouldn't say, you know, it could be somebody with a little bit on the ego side. But if it's just 2 or 3 out of the list, then this can also play a role. The severe form of mental impairment is schizophrenia, and the signs. And now we have heard how a person with a mental impairment shows up in your workshop, how they act. Now we are looking at the person who is represented, a family member, right, who has schizophrenia, like in the workshop that you see on the video of Bert Hellinger, the early video, where the representative showed signs of, I think actually that the child was diagnosed with schizophrenia. Yeah, it was. So the mother said the child has been diagnosed with schizophrenia. And then Bert chose a representative for the child, and then obviously the parents were represented as well. And then the child showed up. So schizophrenia, as Bert Hellinger says in the workshop, looks like the following. Repeat. Well, have we I think we have talked about what schizophrenia is in a family system. It is an entanglement, a double entanglement that is not solvable. So in one person, there are 2 entanglements with opposite dynamics, right? So one person is not only entangled with one other family member, but with 2. And these 2 family members, they have different dynamics, right? So this is nothing that can, so that's the family constellation explanation, aka Bert Hellinger, for schizophrenia. You won't find that in any medical book, obviously, right? That is just how we look at schizophrenia. So this is, and it's quite academic because it's not solvable. So you just know when you see it that you have to break it up. Don't waste your time and try to clear the dynamics. It won't work. That's what Bert says. And I had the same. I had it twice in my life, schizophrenia in a family constellation. Actually, 3 times, because it was in the same participant of a workshop came twice, and it ended both times with schizophrenia in the family. And he never made any progress. So I can tell from my own experience that's not working in a workshop. So that's the reason for schizophrenia family system in our family constellation world. So what is the sign of somebody who has schizophrenia in the family system? So one of the most common signs are that this person is going in circles. So every time you see, and it's not like going somewhere, that it's really going in circles, either going surrounding the whole constellation or surrounding a group in the constellation, or just turning around themselves. Could be anything of that, but it is a constant movement like this, going. So that is one of the signs of schizophrenia that is actually in the family constellation present. So what do we know then? We know we can't really help there, right? That's what we know. That doesn't mean that the whole constellation is obsolete. That does just mean that we cannot go to that aspect of the family system. Yeah, that means that we are working on the other aspects of the family system that we can work with. But be aware that this person who shows the sign of schizophrenia in a family constellation will draw all the attention. So this is why it's a trap to fall into, because you feel obliged, you feel needed there. It's hard to neglect that, where in fact there's not much you can do. Why, there's probably something else you can do in other aspects of the family constellation with the other representatives, right? And then virtually, I have not, so virtually, that's interesting. So we had one virtual constellation where the representative did that, right? Like this. And due to Bert Hellinger, this is a sign for schizophrenia, right? Okay. So when we did the constellation, I don't remember every detail anymore. We find a good solution. And I was always wondering throughout the whole constellation, is that really schizophrenia? You know? And then later on, the representative told me that she has been trained in swaying as a form of connecting. I have never heard of this before. But I just took it as an information that made me wonder if we can say, so I don't have enough seen in virtual family constellations yet to tell you exactly when how schizophrenia looks like there. I still think that is a sign when somebody's swaying for schizophrenia, but it can also be something else. So as always, learn everything, and when it happens, look twice. And always be open that it could be something else, or it could be the exemption of the rule. No? So don't take it totally for granted. You always have to test it. You always have to test it out first.
We had both. I was representing one time someone, and I felt like doing it. I wasn't doing it, but I felt like this was the sensation.
Yeah, okay.
And but then later on it passed. I can't remember what was later on. And there was another constellation of one of the clients, and then you say later on, oh, such and such in her family had a schizophrenia.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the case I'm referring to. Yeah. Thank you. So how do we deal with schizophrenia in a family constellation? So the experienced family constellation facilitator would not try to hear the dynamics behind the schizophrenia, but would focus on other aspects in the family system that has actually where you see you can help, where you can actually let the love flow, where there's something stuck, where there's a dynamic that needs to be healed, right? If there's nothing else showing up other than the schizophrenia, then you break it up. And you say, that's it. Right? Please sit. That's it. That was our constellation. You don't never need to explain why. I would never explain that to the participants because they wouldn't be able to follow, and they would hear what they want to hear, and that is something probably you never would like them to hear, because they can't make sense of this anyhow. So don't feel as a general thing, don't feel you have to explain what you do in a workshop. You are not a trainer, you're not a trainer, they are not learning from you. You are facilitating a constellation, and when the constellation is done, the constellation is done, and they don't need to understand it. Yeah, that's really important. If you think you want to share a little bit here, a little bit there, some tidbits which are easy to digest, often to do with the mother movement, right? That is something you can share. Or a victim perpetrator situation, something you can share, but only easy dynamics which are easily understood for normal lay people, right? But not so special cases like schizophrenia or something like that. Okay, now let's talk about family secrets. That is really exciting in the family constellation. Because, and there are few family secrets, because when you facilitate a family constellation, sometimes you have this really weird situation that although you may have 5, 6, 7 representatives standing, none of them moves, none of them has an emotion, none of them gives you any hint whatsoever, and you are really totally desperate You don't know what, because you don't know what to do. You can't do anything. Nobody gives you a hint. That is when you're dealing with a family secret. Right? So that's an absolutely sure sign that there's a family secret. You might think, oh, we have a constellation where everything is okay. And all is good, so we can all sit down again, right? Well, that's not the case, because there is no such a thing as a family constellation where everybody's happy and everybody's okay, because it wouldn't show up, right? The morphic field wouldn't provide that, because nothing needs healing. All right? So when you see this situation where you think, oh, there's nothing to do really, or you see the situation where you think, I cannot do anything, I don't know where to start, then chances are very high that you have a family secret in front of you. So now, how do we deal with it? That's the question. So first of all, I give you theory, and then I share with you how that would look on the figurine board. So when a constellation is not moving ahead and no dynamic shows up with the representatives, that's a sign of a family secret. Family secrets often remain unsolved in the constellation, not because you cannot solve it, but because you don't see it, right? Or the facilitator doesn't see it. That's why. Sometimes when it is in a constellation where the family secret is not seen and not solved, it is not futile anyhow, because often the client will talk later and gets an information from his family that is kind of completely shocking and new to him, which hints at the family secret. That means that the field has worked in the constellation. Although the family secret wasn't showing up, it has provided opening the path, so to speak, for the family secret to slowly come and appear in the family system and be seen, right? So it is great. Also, when you are not able to deal with the family secret, doesn't mean that not something has moved towards the right direction. So you have to trust the field. However, if you are versed in family constellation facilitating, you can actually constellate the family secret, right? And I show you how. So the best, most effective way is that you add a representative for the secret in the constellation. Now, I'm sharing one constellation which was really interesting. I was a representative. I was in an online workshop during lockdown with a lovely facilitator from Canada. And because I was curious how that works, and I was chosen as a representative for, guess what? The family secret. And it was really interesting because I was feeling as a representative only attached to one specific person in the constellation, and nobody else was of interest to me. That was really interesting. And so I have experienced that this family secret normally is always has to do with one person. One person is the carry-off secret, right? So this is how I experienced it in this family constellation. So when you add the family secret, ask the family secret, the representative, where they want to go, whom they feel they belong to. Where is it? And they will most likely find one specific person only. And then you can deal with that, because once you know where the family secret is, we're working with what we've learned, acknowledging what is. That was we start. So this person has to acknowledge they have a secret. Guess what? They have to acknowledge that to the others. They have to say that, yes, I have a secret. And then You know, you just apply what you learn. Then after the acknowledging is what follows, Virna?
I have a question. How did you know?
No. Let's answer the question.
I
Answer the question.
repented.
What follows after acknowledging what is in a family constellation?
Saying yes.
So finding the right word, right? That's what you need. You need to find the right word to be addressed from the right person to the other. That's our work, right? So it could be a yes, yeah. It could be a please, it could be a thank you. We don't know. It depends on the constellation. So we need to find the other person so we have the secret, then we have the secret is attached to one person, then we need to know who is the other person, right? Who is the other person that needs to know about the secret? That's the constellation. And when you find, and you will, you will find the other person, and then you find the right word. You can test it, or you know it, or you test it. Then the family secret will feel tired, goes to the ground, goes out of the door, you know, any kinds of signs, or sit down on the chair that says, I'm not needed anymore. Right? So that's just a normal constellation, a constellation like we do.
In the workshop, Rocio knew that there was a secret. She saw the man, and I was a secret.
And I don't remember how
And I went to the man, and the man was like, "No, what are you doing here? No, you're not mine." And then I was kind of doubting. I felt drawn to the other person.
Oh yes,
But when I went to her, I was like, "No, it's not here." I felt more into going to him, and I stayed there. And he was like, "No, you don't belong to me. I have nothing to do with this." And in another constellation, I did wonder how you knew, because this girl, she wanted to know more about her. The constellation was in regards to her relationship with the mother, and I represented the mother. And then you knew that it was a secret. And then the way you conducted it made me think that you saw something.
I don't remember.
That you knew everything, because you asked me to look at Peter and tell him that I did it, and I was like, I can't say that, and you were accepted, and I was like, I
Yeah, I
can't.
don't remember. I
Yeah.
remember.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You say we're doing a constellation now to try? No.
Yeah, we were.
Because I have a class to teach and I can move it at 9:15 if needed, but
I think we will be finished by 9.
Okay.
I hope, right? So let me just see see, that was the last slide. So we are doing our exercise now. We are constellating a family secret.
Okay.
It's a demonstration, but as you know, we never know what we are in for if we are starting to constellate. And we demonstrated on the figurine. It's 10 minutes, hopefully, so we should be fine for the closing. And then we are done. So I will stop sharing that, and I will start sharing the board. So let me take that away here. Okay, now we have the figurines here. And anybody from you, I wonder, thinks that there's something going on in the family that you don't know of? Francesca, you think there's something? Yeah, go. Let's do it. So let's constellate your family. tell me who is you, your parents.
Oh, wow. I am the little red one. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I actually looked at the one behind, which is slightly bigger, maybe. I don't know.
That one?
It's on the same line, but like 4 backward, closer to you.
That one? Yeah, that's in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And
My
then parents?
parents is these 2 guys on my right. Yeah,
Oh,
it's like
I don't know right and left.
colorless. Those 2. Yeah, that
The
one.
big ones?
Not
Yeah.
the big one. Yeah, those.
And then we take another representative, you see it in a minute, we take another representative for your ancestors.
Just one.
Just one.
So the big guy, big woman.
Big
Yeah.
woman. Okay. That's your ancestors. And then we take a representative for the family secret.
Family secret.
Francesca had a brother, didn't she?
Yeah. But
Yeah, let's take the brother.
the brother is the yellow, same side. Yeah, that one. And the secret is, can it be those like donuts at the back?
Sure, sure. How many?
3, 4, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
3. Okay. Right. Okay, let's see how we do that. Up a little bit. Go. Okay. So this is the family secret. Okay. Right. So now you would, I demonstrate, but it may move, so you never know. So we would, 1, 2, 3, we have 3 representatives. So we can only choose, well, if we have 4, because Francesca's there too. Let's, you know what? Let's take your brother away again. And one of your parents. Who shall we take away, Francesca?
I think my mother.
Okay. So let's deal with 3 generations here and the family secret, okay? Let's see how far we go. Who wants to represent, Francesca, you represent yourself, I suppose? Yeah?
Yeah, I'll have to, yeah.
Or you want to represent some of the others?
No, I'm good with myself.
Okay, good. Gabrielle, whom do you want to represent? Yeah, unmute everybody.
The secret.
Okay, cool. So that's Gabrielle. Then who wants to be the father? Francesca, maybe Darshan? Darshan?
Yeah, I don't mind. If
Okay.
she's okay with that, I'm happy to do that. Yeah.
And then Virna, you would be the ancestors.
Okay.
That could be any generation after the father. Okay. So take a couple of breaths. Connect with the field. And when you open your eyes, you connect with your figurine. And then you tell me where you want to move it to.
I think I want to look at my father.
Father, what do you think?
I need to be sort of all the way back on the edge of the table. Yeah, all the way. Yeah, but
That
more
way?
back. Yeah, way much more. Yeah, about there.
Which way are you looking?
Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfect there. I'm looking at her still.
At her, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And then the ancestors, Virna, where do you want this figurine?
I feel like far, but not next to him. A little bit. No, 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 no.
Away.
That side, yeah. That's good. Yeah.
That's good. Where are you looking? Oh, you
I'm
don't see
looking
the
at
head,
her.
eh?
Yeah.
The head is cut off. You're looking at her. Okay, how do we do that? That the head is not cut off. Okay, we are too far away here from. Hang on, I maybe can move that one. More.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. You can barely see the head, right? Okay. Here we go. Here we go. The family secret. First of all, do you want to keep that or you want to change that with the figurine?
Are you speaking to Francesca?
No, I
talk-
speak to you.
I want to stand beside the ancestor, very close.
Okay.
I want to stand close to the ancestor.
Okay. So do you want to swap this for a figurine or not?
Pardon?
Do you want to swap this for a figurine?
No.
Okay. So close to the ancestor.
I
Yeah,
don't like
closer.
that.
Closer, closer, closer. Closer. Yes.
So Verna said already she doesn't like it.
Yeah, I feel a sensation in my stomach. It's like, ugh.
I like it.
Me
You
too.
like it. And you too, Francesca. Darshan?
Getting a lot of emotion through my solar plexus right now. It feels like it's hard, like a very tense sensation. And underneath my feet, I can feel like my heels are digging into the floor. So,
Okay.
yeah. But I'm okay where I'm standing at the moment.
All right.
I'm getting dizzy.
You're getting dizzy. Okay.
Mm.
How's that for you, Gabriel? You're fine there?
I feel very strong.
Strong. Okay.
I feel very strong.
Virna, say to Darshan, I carry it for you.
I carry it for you.
I'm getting a lot of tears in my eyes now. Like I feel quite emotional.
Very good. Yeah.
That gave me a release.
Darshan, say to Virna, thank you.
Thank you.
Virna, say to Darshan, it is safe with me. Say to Darshan, it is safe with me.
It is safe with me.
I can't hear her. I mean, I can hear her words, but it doesn't record.
Okay. Virna, say to him, you need to look at it.
You need to look at it.
Okay.
Good.
I can take a look at it.
So we do that way. So where is it? Here. So you can look at it. Like this?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'm a little bit overwhelmed.
You're overwhelmed?
Yes.
You don't want to share your secret, eh?
I'm okay, I think.
Say to him, I can share it with you.
I can share with you.
Okay.
How's that for you, Gabriel?
Very good.
Very good. How is that, Gabriel, if we divide you? How does that feel for you, Gabriel?
It's difficult to share it.
It weaks me.
Mm-hmm. Verna, say to Francesca, you have to look at it too.
You have to look at it too.
Francesca's okay with that? Let's go closer. How's that?
I
Good?
can go right there. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like I've been waiting for this forever.
Oh, okay. Hang on. This the sides are a little bit. Why is this not looking? It doesn't look straight at it. Let me just swap the side. That's better. Here we go. Verna, say
I'm anxious.
anxious.
Oh.
Say I keep it for you. To Francesca.
I keep it for you. No, it's like I'm okay like sharing it, but it's hard to tell them.
Okay. Say to Francesca, I can share it with you.
I can share with you.
How's that, Francesca?
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Here you go.
I think I feel that I'm just fearing judgment.
Ah, very good. Okay. How's that for you,
I feel like
Gabriel?
I feel like I don't know. Is Francesca, do you know the word sollozo?
Say it
Sollozo?
again. Odioso.
No, sollozo. Like this expression is what I feel like. You know, there is no pain. I'm anxious, but
But as you're relieved at the same time.
yes, like yeah.
Yeah. Gabriel, how do you feel?
For me, I have the feeling it doesn't make sense. So I was very strong when I had the secret at the ancestor. I was more weak when you shared it, and now
Your existence.
You lost your
is-
value.
Yes.
yeah, I think
Yeah. Yeah. Because
I like
obviously
Francesca.
a
doesn't
secret that is shared with everybody is not a secret anymore.
Exactly. I like to try
Ah.
Francesca to go close to her dad.
Yeah. So let's round it up because the time is out. Francesca, say to your dad, now we know everything.
Now we know everything.
How is it for the dad? It's good, eh? Yeah,
Very good.
very good. How's that for you, Francesca?
Yeah,
Good.
good. I had a feeling like warmth in my chest since the beginning, since the first movement.
Very good. Okay, so we round it up here and come back to the closing. So that was, it's interesting, eh? We just want to demonstrate that family constellations always ends up in being real.
I really don't know what that is, but my surname means the blade of a knife. And there is this story about somebody being killed. So the reason why my family is where it is now in Sardinia, it's because somebody had to run away because he killed somebody else. And I think that's the thing. I've always kind of felt that. And I've had dreams about somebody being killed but with a knife. So I really don't know when and how that happened. But because then now my family, it's all lawyers, you know, very respectable people. But there's something unsaid. There's a lot of violence.
See, interesting. So the interesting thing here was that the representative for the secret has been shown as this free. So we go with the fear. Like this is a demonstration to show you exactly how that is. We go with the fear. So nobody can make that up. Francesca has chosen 3 donuts. Was it Francesca? Yeah, 3 donuts for the secret. And we obviously only had 3 persons left to represent. And when they were standing and we had the 3 donuts as a secret, it was kind of obvious that they needed to be shared, right? Because there are 3 people. You can't make this stuff up. I cannot teach that. You have to see it when you're in a family constellation, right? If there would be a person standing instead of 3 donuts, that would be different. Because obviously we cannot divide it. But this was here what was required by the field. And then the result was that Gabrielle, because we're looking at the secret when we want to check in, you know, how far we have been with shifting the energies. And when Gabrielle said that doesn't make sense, that was clear the secret was not existing anymore.
Was
because,
broken.
because the secret shared with 2 people is not a secret anymore, right? So that was great. Okay, so let's round up module 3. If you have questions, I all see you all back in module 4 because, as I said,
When is it?
that's in 1 month. I have a look when it is.
I did it. So we are invited to assist, to
yes.
attend. Right. Okay.
Yes, please, because as I said, I have reorganized it for this course, so I'm happy to have you, you know, continuing. If you have questions, we will have a gathering in next week. We see if we can combine it with the workshop a little bit, so we don't need to meet twice. We are all going to on the workshop, I suppose. Are we?
Which day is it?
Saturday.
Sunday.
Oh, Sunday
it?
for no Saturday.
27th.
Yeah, Saturday.
27. I'm away for work, so I won't be able to be there. But
Me too. I'm working.
Are you working as well?
I'm thinking, maybe I can come on a one-on-one instead. Does that work? Does that make any sense?
We can talk about that. I'm depend. The workshops are more for you to observe, get practice.
But I have work. I can't.
Yeah. No, that's fine. That's not a problem. So
Okay,
anyhow,
Saturday.
normally we would have after a module we would have a group gathering. And I was just thinking if it makes sense to have that before after the workshop, but if 2 of you are not there anyhow, then it makes no sense. So how about the Sunday then? Shall we gather on Sunday?